Yep. Yeah, here we are. We've made it to
Finally.
Chateau Del Mat. At last,
2 hours later.
We've been wanting to come for a while and talk to you. We've known you for quite a while now. It's been quite a few years, and
reminiscing over the past and how it's all intertwined over the years.
The busiest man in the music business, I would say. You are just a non-stop. You're just non-stop at this. I mean, how long has this been? This is clearly a massive passion for you, and this is clearly what you are you focus more than anybody probably I know your entire life on music.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely the centre of your universe.
Yeah.
To me, obviously, more than anybody else I've really met or know, you know.
Yeah. It's more just like music was always like my escape, as I'm sure it is for most people. It was always like the way of getting away from the bad parts of life, and because that happened so much for me. Like I had a bad childhood, boo-hoo, but it was always like that was what brought me out, was always music, and it's just always been my therapy.
Right.
So I guess it's more of a reflection that I need therapy.
Well, that's what I'm here for, Matt. That's what I'm here for.
So the more albums I do, the more psychotic I probably am. If I have a quiet period, my life's like back on track, and I'm all good.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, you're right. You're just right. Your output is just staggering, really. How many albums? How many albums have you?
So
roughly how many? All right, roughly, if off the top of your head, how many songs have you written? You must have written.
Oh, definitely hundreds. Definitely hundreds. But we're kind of in this rebuilding phase at the moment.
Right.
Like we're re-recording our debut album and doing all that kind of stuff. We've got a great new producer.
Cool.
So we've kind of just started re-recording a lot of our old material with him to represent Twisted Illusion, because I really don't like our old albums. So I kind of want to next year represent who we are.
So you're obviously doing that because you're obviously all bands are proud of what they've done in the past, but you just want to make that first album. You want to re-give it as better. You think it could be better, and you want to.
Yeah, it's just fundamentally down to this new producer we've been working with.
Right.
David at Red City Studios is incredible. Used to be in Heaven's Basement, the guitar player. So he's just really brought out something I never thought I'd hear in my own music, like just the quality that I never thought I'd hear, like when we first started recording. So I'm just really happy to like finally be hearing the songs the way I always imagined them.
I mean, some bands, us included for the time being. I mean, it might change in the future, but certainly us. I mean, we look back at our first albums, and they have their place, but I don't harbour any desire to re-record them, to be quite honest with you. So fair play for doing that,
No, I understand a lot of people just kind of want to leave it as a moment in time a lot of the time and just kind of go, oh, it happened. But I'm so afraid of someone like getting into us and finding something that isn't good. And going, they're not for me, they're shit. Never mind all
And you're not worried about meeting you? Maybe you want to be more worried about that.
I'm fine, I don't swear. I'm quite humble and chilled and down to earth, easy to get along with. Never remotely post anything controversial.
You make a good brew anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
In my experience, most of my favourite songwriters all draw inspiration from being a fan of a huge genres of music, multiple genres. You're definitely a guy that. Do you have a wide love of music from all different genres, or are you strictly like? Do you just listen to? Whenever I've spoke to you, I get the impression that you do like. You're a very open-minded guy when it comes to music.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and it's kind of. I was not that person when I started writing songs, and there's definitely a correlation between me listening to a lot of different music and my music getting better, I think.
Right.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. The best songwriters are the ones that listen to everything and take elements of it all, and it goes through them, and what comes out is usually it's usually an original sounding piece of work, because it's gone through such a filtered process. Whereas you'll get bands that only listen to Metallica, and they're a metal band, and they just sound like Metallica.
Yeah. I absolutely couldn't agree. We listen to everything, fans of everything, country.
Yeah.
I find country music is.
But I think that shows in Wagons though as well.
I understand that people don't like it, and it's people turn their nose up at it and laugh at it and think it's awful country, but you can really get into it. It's
the
some of the best
harmonies in country music.
The best music, and I think the bands that can embrace all different genres really do right.
Like my favourite album is Grace by Jeff Buckley, but you're never going to hear that sound in TI, really, I think.
No.
Because I just don't sing like that. I don't have a sweet, soft voice. I have.
Do you think it inspired? Do you think that music must inspire? If it's actually your favourite album, it must inspire you in other ways, though.
It does.
I bet it does, and maybe you don't even realise it does.
Maybe like texturally, and maybe about, without going too douchebaggy. This is what I wanted to avoid in this. I don't want to sound like a douche, but you know, it often has.
Switch the camera off now, then.
It has integrity. I find a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That kind of like. When songs are just there because they need to be, not because they're trying to write a single or they're trying to write a radio song. So, I think it's clear when that's happening.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I mean, when we write stuff and I write words, every song has its own is there for a reason.
Yeah, it's its own universe, doesn't it? It's
completely. It's not there to fill. It's not really there to fill a gap in an album. No. I think you can probably tell that. I like to think you can tell that with our albums because. There's just all sorts of shit going on.
I definitely think so.
They're all. It's like all sorts of crazy stuff. It doesn't have one sound right through it. It took us a long time to realise, but you need to have faith in that. No matter what you're playing, your band's essence will shine through the songs, no matter what. So you could play a country song, or we could play a country song, but people would still know it was Massive Wagons. And that's the important thing. I think.
Exactly. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad we agree. What age were you then that you started that you found music was a massive part of your life, and what bands led you into deciding that you wanted to play guitar? Because I mean, you've obviously been playing quite a long time now.
Green Day was the big one for me.
I mean, you're only 45, so I mean, you've been playing quite a long time.
Yeah. Green Day, American Idiot. That was like my explosion into music.
Was it? What year was that?
2003 it came out.
Right.
And I would have been. I think I would have been. No. I got it a bit. See, I get my timeline a bit wrong here. I think. No. 2003 was right. Yeah. So I would have been 12 at the time.
Right.
And maybe 11 and 12. Year 7, first year of high school. Right. And that album just blew my mind.
That was it. That did it for you, did it?
Yeah. I'd always kind of, my dad was. I say a big music fan. He had a lot of compilations from every bloody genre you could imagine, like just everything from the Beatles to Meatloaf to Kate Bush, The Police, The Jam, all sorts of bands. But they were always compilations, so I always heard like all the big singles from every band.
Yeah.
And so I was always like aware of music peripherally and I was never bothered. I was always skateboarding or
you never
playing
had your
football.
own music, if you like.
Yeah. But like Green Day, once I heard that American Idiot song, I remember going to Tesco that day, buying it for £10 with my pocket money, and I was like, wore that booklet out. I knew every inch of that album.
That's like, a massive moment. I think everybody who's in a band or loves music can have that one album.
I think everyone has that moment.
Probably Judas Priest Painkiller was the one for me.
Oh, really?
Because I got that for album. Well, I'm ancient now, but I got that for Christmas when I was a kid. And that was the same thing. I got it, and I'm like, this is finally my music.
Yeah.
This is mine. I don't have to listen to my dad's music in a car anymore. Don't have to listen to it on the radio. This is where I can control this music. What an album! Yeah,
it's incredible.
But that's great. And is that what made you pick up the guitar?
Yeah. And like, it's not like I looked up to Billy Joe Armstrong as a guitarist. I was aware that they weren't virtuosos. I was aware of the Hendrixes and the Jimmy Pages of the world. I knew there was better guitar music out there. But it was definitely like the impetus,
the connection,
for me to go, I want to be in a band, I want to write music. And from that point on, it took me, from that point, literally about a decade to get a band together.
Right.
That I felt like was decided in that moment.
And then you fired them.
Fired them over and over again. And then started the next 10 years.
I can edit that out if you want.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I've got nothing to hide.
If you were fired from Matt's band over the years, I do apologise.
I'm sorry too. You can come back. You can't.
we talked a bit about it before. The first time I saw you singing was at the pub in Lancaster. The place we bang on about that place all the time. I was in there at the weekend actually. They've redone it all up and it's awesome, absolutely awesome place. Yeah, was playing in the Blood Brothers tribute Iron Maiden band.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
You were just standing in then.
No. So me and Daz put that band together initially.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
I thought you told me that you were just filling in for a singer on a few nights.
I was that night because I think I'd already set up TI at that point, and then I think I just filled in for a few gigs when the singer let him down or something. But yeah, that was like...
So you were in that band originally?
Yeah, that was my first foray into being a front man properly. And I remember you talking about it and you were in the pub when you were doing, the documentary you did.
Oh yes.
And you were talking about bands doing covers and getting to know the cover scene and that's where you hone it. And I am of that mindset too. It's bands that do that stand out a mile. You know when they've been around the block.
I mean, Doug, I do. I mean, we used to come up against when we did the cover bands thing, and then we started doing our original bands. Yeah. The original bands that we used to play with would sometimes you'd mention that to them, you'd turn the nose up at it and think, we don't play covers. We're not a cover band. So you haven't got a cover band because you can't be bothered.
Even when
it's hard work.
Even when we put a cover in the set, we'd get it. We get shit for it. I remember I give you shit for it as well in a review. I was like, you shouldn't have thought that.
What cover was that?
It was
Nutbush or something like that.
Creedence.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I only played that once.
Yeah.
Ever, I think.
It was at the library gig, I think. Oh, no.
Was it Rebellion it was?
Rebellion, that's it. And I was like, you shouldn't have played that.
But no, I agree. And it is, and if any bands are starting out, it does take a long time to build up 2 hours worth of stuff, and it is, get your own PA, but that's what, I think if you're passionate about it, that's what
covers bridge that gap for you.
It does, and you get paid for it. Oh, yeah. It's not a lot of money, but you get paid. You're 9 times out of 10 you're playing to full houses.
You were saying how great I am.
yeah, of course I was. Yeah, sorry.
Cheers, mate.
Did that cut that out? Oh well, we'll not cover all ground. Covers. I think it's a great foundation for any band. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
We found that when we started playing original stuff, suddenly you start going from playing to full houses to playing to nobody.
Yeah.
But then you're going on first and you're blowing everyone away and people are like, wow,
because you're tight and
these guys so good.
You understand performance because when you do a cover set and you see how people respond to Thunderstruck and you see how they respond to a UFO song or a Deep Purple song or whatever, you see how the crowd respond to different types of songs.
Totally.
So then you do that with your own music and you go, right, that cover was good at that point of the set. That's that kind of song.
You learn so much. And that's valuable time. It's valuable learning time you can't afford when you're in an original band. You've already got those skills and you're already rising up the ranks, so to speak, because you've done all the fucking hard work. So yeah, you're in a band, don't be fucking lazy. Covers. Get some covers learned. So, explain to me the TI situation now. I mean, I'm not on Facebook anymore. We used to talk a bit more on Facebook about things. But has it changed now? Do you always write all the parts now for TI, or do you just get people in that you trust and you give them your vision and they come up with parts, or do you find it easy to trust other people to write?
Yeah,
parts?
A lot more now. So for the last 18 months, 2 years, we've had a really stable lineup. Right. Aside from the bass player.
Not mention the bass player.
We just can't get the bass player out. We've just got a new bass player.
Right.
He's amazing. We can't wait to break him in. Well, literally break him.
That's another video, people.
Anyway. But yeah, I do really trust Saxon, who's our guitarist.
Yeah, I get that. I see you know what your stuff
He's started to write a lot more stuff. He's wrote 4 entire TI songs that I had no part in whatsoever.
Not at all. That's what I like about you, Matt, because you're very... While people think you are maybe a control freak, I think you're very open-minded and excited by doing things in a different way.
Yeah.
A weird way, or like the flipping 14 albums you're going to release next year, I mean, or letting somebody else completely have control over songs. Or
a lot of music to me is I'm a music fan first. I'm such a fanboy first. I'm just probably the biggest Wagons fan ever. I'm such a fucking cringy fanboy. but it's because I'm a fan of music before I'm a musician. So I'm in this kind of awkward place where I'm a fan of people in my band before I'm like, you know, so I'm a fan of, like, to me, Saxon is one of the best guitar players I've ever worked with, and I've worked with some ridiculously good guitar players, but Saxon's just got this thing. He just doesn't sound like anybody. He's got all the chops in the world. He could play anything, and he's an incredible
that's
songwriter.
That's a big thing for me, is having that unique sound. Yeah,
but he's an incredible songwriter, and we've got to the point now where I do completely trust him to write an entire TI song, and I know it'll be great. I've got faith that I just know it'll be great.
That's good. That's good. That must feel. I mean, did you go through a stage where you just didn't trust anybody?
Yeah, I completely. That
must be horrible.
Yeah. And I don't want to feel like that. I want
to.
I want to feel like the people in Twisted Illusion are able to do something themselves. And it sounds like a big ego shot, but it's not. It's like I have a situation now where I completely don't.
They're just not two things that don't. You and ego. They just.
I'm a chill guy.
Never made the connection.
But no, I was very controlling, and it was because I just never felt anyone else kind of understood what I was trying to do.
Right.
And then that all changed in the last couple of years when I've got Saxon involved and Andy, the keyboard player. Phil, our drummer, he is a massive part of what we do. He writes a lot of the songs with me and demos them. And so I have a band now, which I never had for a long time.
You probably find as well, don't take this as an insult at all, but you probably find getting older helps. You know, you sort of you grow up a bit more, don't you?
The arrogance of youth.
Well, it is, isn't it? We're all like that, aren't we? You know, these things happen, don't they? But it's
me a bit too much publicly. It's fine.
I hadn't noticed. I say I don't follow social media very much anymore, but I saw an interesting thing where you were having a bit of a rant about being labelled a prog band.
Yes.
Explain that to me, please.
Okay, because we kind of painted our own coffin with that, because when we started, we were like, we are a prog band, we're different, because in the scene, I don't know if you remember, prog bands weren't. I didn't know any prog bands.
No.
Like when we came out, we were like the prog band in the scene. So I felt like, and that's kind of what gave us a bit of a reputation to start with, was that, you know, everyone was into, you know, Wagons and Bigfoot and all these bands and whatever, and we were the prog band. We had our own little niche carved out.
Yeah.
And it was a good thing at that time. But as I've gone on, I just don't care about prog, really. Right. I'm not a big prog fan. I love Rush. Rush are like one of my favourite bands. But a lot of prog purists don't consider Rush a prog band.
Right.
So I've never been that massive on prog. I like Dream Theater, Stephen Wilson, bits and bats here and there. But I'm much more of a pop rock fan, like maybe, 80s Toto.
Maybe like 6 of the 14 albums you put on next year should all have 3-minute songs on with 3 chords. That'll fucking learn them, won't it?
But we do have some really short, like, commercial songs, and I don't feel like people are going to give them the time of day because we've done them. Like, if another band did some of those songs that we've done, they kind of immediately go, oh, a prog band's done it.
Maybe it's all the Facebook statuses about you saying, I'm going to write a 20-minute song. You know, they don't fucking help, do they?
And then I did. So the final part of the trilogy, Excite the Light Part 3. That sounds prog, I know.
I don't want to be a prog band.
There's only 2 songs on it.
All right.
And they're both...
Costa Rica, yeah.
And they're both 31 minutes long.
Fucking hell. But you can understand why people...
Yeah.
But people...
But we do have that element about us, but like I don't like consciously go, we're writing prog music, we're gonna sound like Yes. But to me, they're all just like rock. We're a rock band. That's what
you have given, like you said at the start of this, you have basically painted yourself out to be that a little bit, and people they're not lazy, but you know, they just the first thing they grab hold of is the prog like thing and just go with it. Don't they? Oh,
we've
prog
got
band,
we've got like the first single we're releasing next year. It's just a rock song. It's a 4-minute verse, chorus, dead
4
easy.
minutes.
4 minutes. It's dead simple song, and you know a lot of people just won't click on the link because it says Twisted Illusion, and because it's I don't like prog.
Yeah.
Because I know I do that myself. It's like if I heard there's a new Metallica song, but I clicked on that link and it was a pop punk song, I still would never know because I'm not really asked about a new Metallica song. And
no.
I feel like people get lazy with genre tags, and once you kind of like if you guys came out and did like a fucking
8-minute song,
wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. But like, you know what I mean? If you kind of did that, I think a lot of people would be like, you know, like
a bit taken aback by you.
Yeah, but I don't want to be. I also don't want to ever like just be told I'm this. I want to do a pop album, a genuine pop album. I want to do a metal album.
I couldn't agree more. We've never we're quite lucky in that respect. I don't know. We've never been pigeonholed so much.
Yeah.
We have suffered the other way, where we've had reviewers on a number of occasions tell us that we have no idea who we are. In reviews, it's like, well, they're just a band who just don't know who they are. They don't know what their sound is. It's like, well, no, I'm in the band, mate. I know exactly what my sound is. It's exactly what I want to record. No, you're the one who doesn't. You're the one who can't deal with the fact that
exactly. Just because you misinterpret it doesn't mean I've done something.
Just because we've done, all these songs sound different doesn't mean we don't know who we are. Like I only know you. It's Matt Jones and music. That is it. Is that all it is, or is there what else is there to do? Is the football, or is there?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. What else is there? What else does Matt Jones do?
Comedies, sitcoms. I love a good.
Sit on your ass, basically.
Yeah. I'm pretty.
I mean, your house here, and it's basically just music.
I'm pretty boring. I fail to believe
music, I fail to believe that that's all that you're into. It's just music.
I like playing snooker.
Do you play snooker?
I don't play it often, but I love playing snooker.
Oh, right.
There's an interesting, I guess. I don't play often, but no, I love playing snooker. I don't know, just if I'm not doing something musical for myself, I'm doing it for someone else, where I'm, listening to a new record, or, trying to work with someone else. Or
do you ever find you need a break from it, though?
Every day. But then, see, I try to take, but I hate holidays. Can't do it. Can't imagine anything worse than sitting somewhere 1,000 miles away in the sun, being able to do something. That is hell to me. I tried having a few days off a couple of months back. I was like, I'm having 3 days off. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to go even admin, nothing, video, nothing. I am sitting here and I'm going to watch TV and play games for 3 days. 6 hours in, I was doing something. I was mixing. I couldn't. I can't.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. That's a huge passion in it. I mean, you obviously still find massive enjoyment in it.
I mean, I think it goes beyond that. It's just that I'm just a fucking mong, really. I just can't have a day off.
Yeah.
It's like I overwork myself, and I'm very aware that I do it, but. I can't see my life being any other way. I dread to think if I ever have kids, because I literally will never ever sleep ever. So
Oh, fantastic. So, tell us a bit more about what other projects have you got coming up? You're re-recording the first album. What's the first album called?
So, Temple of Artifice, which you were at the sessions for.
Yes.
And we did a song with Baz, and it turned out like a bag of shit, so we never released it. It was called All Baz's Fault.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Restart Reality.
I fucking forgot about that.
Restart Reality.
Forgot all about that.
Yeah. It just turned out like a bag of shit. It was just
was
clunky.
That my fault?
No, it
probably was my fault.
No, honestly, the chorus was the best bit, and then we had you do a verse, but it just felt really clunky when we heard it all back, and we just didn't put the song on.
Are you re-recording that, or is that being?
Well, we used the title again because I love the title. I made a completely new song. I was like, that title was sick. The song was
not wasting that.
Yeah, not wasting that title.
Oh, brilliant.
But no, I don't know. I mean, no.
It's always good to have those things, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got everything like stored.
That's great. We find, especially on the Patreon thing, you build up a collection, and the Patreon are the hardcore, and they love all that stuff, all the weird stuff, the stuff you think is shit, the demos, the rubbish. They just soak it all up, don't they?
Absolutely.
Because that's your journey to where you are now, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes like when you're the artist looking back, you don't want to reminisce, because sometimes it's not always laced with a happy memory. No,
I agree. Yeah,
especially if you've been through about 30 different band members like I have.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Matt, because that leads me on to my last question. Do you have any good tips for anyone wanting to fire somebody and if they're worried about doing it?
I love how you look over it. I just hate people.
Hated people.
Yeah, I'm a changed man now.
You're a changed man.
I've got a band. I'm in a committed relationship with my band now, and we go on romantic dates all the time, and we all keep in touch, and I give them hugs and kisses and keep them satisfied.
Make sure they're all right.
Yeah. No, but it's been the most stable it's ever been this last 2 years, and
at the time,
I found the right people.
At the time, it might seem like, turmoil and ups and downs, but it does all make the story.
Yeah.
I think it's great, and I've always said, all the greatest bands in history have all got a great story to tell.
Yeah.
You know, they don't make
yeah.
documentaries about bands that have been around 5 years.
Everything went well. Everything was great.
And fans of bands love a story. The longer you've been going and the more things that have happened, it just makes for a journey.
The biggest bands of all time have all got the most tragic stories.
Without,
it's like they just haven't they? Like they're all
planning on going swimming in the Manchester Ship Canal, are you? And fucking vanishing, or...
I know. I survived 27 last year. I was happy with that.
Is that old you are? 27.
I'm 28 now.
Oh, right, okay.
I thought I was definitely gonna die. All the lineup changes, all the albums, and then I'll just die.
Is that a good place to leave it?
I'll just. Yeah.
Here lies Matt Jones. Yeah. No, that's all I've kind of got really. Unless there's anything else you wanna mention or you wanna talk about or.
Nah. Cheers for having me on.
Hey, no worries. We've been wanting to get this done for a while. So
welcome anytime, and you know, I'll always be a fan of Wagons, no matter how cringy it gets. He's gonna sign all 10 of my vinyls before he goes. He doesn't know it. I'm gonna take a photo of it.
I brought my crayons with me,
and I'm gonna go. That's in my record.
Right, come on. I'm gonna vomit. Come on, turn it on.